Hey guys, Chris Lyford here from Psychotherapy Networker. Once again, welcome to interview number 6. I am here with Sabrina N'Diaye.
Yes.
Sabrina is presenting this weekend with, I believe it's...
Dr. Jim Gordon.
Jim Gordon.
Yep.
Sabrina, tell us a little bit about yourself and your work.
So I am a psychotherapist in private practice in Catonsville, Maryland. I run a space called the Heartness Center for Peace and Healing. And within my practice, I primarily work with mostly women and couples, all of whom have experienced some sort of traumatic life event. And I work with a lot of other healthcare professionals who are striving to be better healers, to be able to contain other people in their struggles. That's one piece of my life. Then the other piece of my life is my active involvement with the Center for Mind-Body Medicine, which is what I do with Dr. Gordon. So through the center, I get to travel around the world and all over this country and teach on 3 levels. We teach self-care for helping professionals. We teach global trauma relief for people who have experienced an extreme traumatic life experience. And we teach a group model to guide other healers in providing services to large numbers of people who may not be able to see someone on an individual basis.
Okay. And remind me, how long have you been in practice?
Oh, I've been in practice, this is my 30th year.
Okay.
This is my 30th year. I started out working with children in foster care and have worked in multiple settings since then. Community mental health, private practice, addictions programs, and now I am doing this. My life work is serving as a guide for other people.
Okay. Well, great. So can you tell me a little bit about what you'll be presenting on this weekend?
So I will be presenting on basically sharing the model that the Center for Mind-Body Medicine has developed in a group process. So our groups are designed to help, like I said before, to help people who need to help large numbers of people. So at its core, our model teaches people that self-care is the root of healthcare. So tomorrow I'm going to be teaching, hopefully, a bunch of folks in private practice in how to expand their way of seeing themselves, of seeing their clients, and to look at a group process as a means of helping their clients and themselves access their innate wisdom and look at pathways to healing that move beyond the traditional client-therapist model.
Okay, great. So we hear a lot about self-care. That term is thrown around a lot. So it goes beyond just taking a day off or going to the gym. It sounds like your work, a lot of it involves somatic work, incorporating the body. Can you tell me specifically what are some common interventions that you might use?
Absolutely. So we call it mind-body medicine, but I call it mind-body spirit medicine. And I consider self-care really a spiritual practice. So it begins with the idea of taking a day off. Like yesterday, it was like a gift from Mother Nature. Sit down, damn it. It's cold outside and it's snowing. So that was sweet, right? And that was a wonderful day just to be with family and to be with myself. But our model really guides people on multiple levels. One, we teach people how to slow down, how to breathe, how to practice mindfulness, but also how to eat and how to move the body. And also to understand that when you share your story with other people, what happens to you physiologically and how that can transcend beyond the room that you're in to impact your relationships with the people that you deal with on a daily basis, but also your relationships with people who come before you. So we do a lot of work with the genogram and guiding people to understand that this is not an accident. You're here for a divine purpose. And so each of those modules serve people in really knowing themselves. And for me, that is really what self-care is about, to really know yourself in a deep, deep way and to really see yourself as a perfectly divine, unique individual. I'm not like you. So the things that you need for self-care are different from what I need. And so there's a few things that we give people that they can just decide which one works for you. Which one do you want to hold on to and fly with?
Great. Can you tell me a little bit, I know you've traveled a lot, what are some of the populations you've worked with?
Well, the reason why I wasn't here last year was because we were at the Pine Ridge Reservation working with the Lakota people, teaching some of the skills that we're going to share with the audience tomorrow.
Wow.
It was one of the most beautiful things I've experienced. So myself, I just started traveling globally with the center. And really, when I went to Pine Ridge, I felt like I was in another country. And I can't even, I haven't begun to unpack what I experienced there. So since then, I've been to the Middle East twice. We're going to Las Vegas at the end of the month. They sound like a foreign country, but the trauma that we're experiencing here in the U.S. is happening everywhere. The center itself has an office in Haiti. We have an office in Gaza, an office in Israel, Kosovo. We are headed back to the Middle East, hopefully do some work in Lebanon. And other parts of East Africa, and also West Africa, and also right here in Baltimore.
Wow. Okay.
In addition to being here, we have a training coming up the week of October 11th, the 11th through the 17th, where we're teaching our model to healthcare folks right here in Baltimore, Maryland. Perfect. So right now I'm supervising people from all over the country who want to learn, like deepen their knowledge of the model to use it for themselves and to also use it with other people.
Okay. Can you give us a little sample of some of the self-care techniques you might be practicing tomorrow for those of us out there who couldn't make it to the symposium this time around? And I want to add, for anybody out there in Facebook land, if you have any questions for Sabrina, anything you want to run by her, we will be looking at your questions on Facebook Live. And
ask me anything. Yeah. So the critical skill that we teach people, which seems so common, is how to breathe. Okay. That's the number one skill we teach people. And it's so interesting when I walk into a room and I'll tell people that we're going to take a deep breath and to get into a comfortable seated position, and everyone has to move. And I'm like, you've been sitting here with me for half an hour and you're not even comfortable. So I guide people in just learning how to breathe, to understand that when we take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, making the belly soft stimulates the vagus nerve. And when the vagus nerve is stimulated, and only when the vagus nerve is stimulated, does that allow us the opportunity to be more receptive about ourselves and about others. Stimulating the vagus nerve is what tells the parasympathetic nervous system that we're in a good place. And so that's the first thing I teach people. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose, making that belly nice and big and round, and then softly breathe out through your mouth, making that belly super, super, super soft. Deep breath in, belly big and round, soft belly breath out. It sounds so simple, but it is the beginning for every single conversation that we need to have with ourselves and with other people. So it guides us to understand that in this moment right now, which is all we have, we're safe. And so when our nervous system knows that we're safe, only then can it make room for digestion to occur, slow down the heart rate, and move us into a deeper self-awareness.
Great. Fantastic. Now you describe yourself as a peace builder.
I am.
Tell me a little bit about what that means, what it involves.
So for me, these circles that we create through the Center for Mind Body Medicine, and also I create in my office, have opened the doorway to some incredible interactions. Just the fact that we're in a circle energetically creates this space where healing can occur. So I sit in these circles across the world, across the globe, with people who are vastly different from me, with vastly different experiences, and we learn about each other in a deep, meaningful way. And because the model does not involve me telling you, Chris, what to do, it just involves me telling myself what to do, my level of self-awareness rises, and people across the room are like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of my own story, my own life. And we realize that we're so similar in so many ways. So for me, sitting in these groups, I have had some profound healing moments. And so now I show up to run groups, and I know, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know something's going to happen. And I know the people that are seated in that room are supposed to be there at that time. And I've seen people sit across from each other and say, oh my gosh, listening to you tell your story, I want to call my mom. I want to call my dad. I want to forgive the institution in which I was sexually assaulted And that place allowed it to happen. I'm sitting in a room with you, and I want to, like, I go deep in my sessions. Like, I have had, I mean, obviously I'm an African-American woman, I'm a Muslim. I have had some experiences in those circles in which someone from, my best example is sitting across the room from a wealthy white man from Alabama. Everything I've been taught to be afraid of, right? Don't even talk to this dude. And he was rich too. Stay away. And we sat in group together, and I shared a story about an experience that I was having in my life. This man, when the circle got around to him, he apologized for being a part of a system that contributed to my pain. And he said, I'm a white, male, rich, homophobic, misogynistic racist. That's what he called himself. I didn't know who to apologize to first. And I was like, well, dude, I'm an African-American Muslim woman with a gay brother. You covered a lot. And I accept your apology. And this man, I mean, I have never seen anyone cry so hard in group. He was laid out on the floor. And a veil lifted between the two of us. And it could never be placed back on either one of us. And he ended up revealing to us that he was a poet. He's like reciting all this beautiful poetry. And in his world, he wasn't allowed to share it. And in my world, I was like, what, are you kidding me? This is beautiful. So it just, for me, peace building is about allowing relationships to shift, allowing these veils to lift, and allowing people just to see each other through new eyes and what can happen from that.
Now, it sounds like one aspect of your work really involves this idea of guiding people through therapy. Sabrina was actually interviewed for our last digest piece on race and mindfulness. Can you tell me quickly just how do you guide somebody through the process? It sounds like you use tone of voice, you use body language, you have a very accepting, open presence. What other elements do you bring to the table? I let people know that no matter what is happening in this moment, they can be at peace and they can be free. Fantastic. In a nutshell. And they eat that up and they embrace the freedom, they embrace the peace. And that is like the beginning of them stepping into the portal for their own healing. And I'm just a witness to what unfolds. Fantastic. Sabrina N'Diaye, thank you so much for joining us. Really thank you. All right.